Thank you for having me. When I saw the flyer, I asked her, are you sure this is me? And she said it is. Thanks. And I do appreciate the opportunity. I hope I have something to share, and I hope people are able to take something away from it. I actually have a screen that I'd like to share so that I don't go off on a tangent.
Can you, so let me just see if I can.
It's giving me the option.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Yes. So, my name is Abimbola Akinkugbe. I run Molding Technologies Limited. I'm an architect by training. I'm also a fashion designer. The topic is very interesting to me because my life has taken quite a few turns, over the years. And I can't take any credit for anything that I'm going to say today, honestly, because I didn't plan anything. Things just unfolded as life happened. So I've done this slideshow to guide my thoughts and what I'm going to say, and I'll just speak from each slide. So my talk is going to be from challenge to opportunities and to action. Inertia happens, because of our comfort zones, the territories that we're familiar with, the pace that we're used to going at, our known methods and styles, our known people, our circles that we're used to. And many times we don't want to, if things are going okay, we're happy to remain in those molds. But what happens is that the only thing that is really constant in life is change, and so the forces that change inertia happen to us all the time. And one that is common to everyone that is here today is the pandemic, and it's forcing a lot of change, and as Ijoma said, life was already changing. Many of us were just not willing to yield to the prompts that were coming, but COVID is forcing us now. I would like to say that the constants that have been in my life really to date are the hand of God. I'm glad that Ijoma said that could be one of my own pillars, and that is what it is, my relationship with God and his guidance over the years. I hope that I'm striving to be a woman of integrity. I hope I'm striving to work hard. I hope I'm striving to be excellent in whatever I put my hand to. And I hope that I'm striving to be authentic as well. I think the first step anyone should take is actually to articulate the challenge, is to identify and articulate the challenge. Sorry. Yes, to identify and articulate the challenge. Over the years, I've been able to do this by, joining conversations, starting conversations, having mentors, seeking counsel. I write, as the years go by, and then I try to choose my cycles. One of the conversations that I joined early in my business life was Wimbiz. And I remember after the first conference, my sewing business was at home. I was working in an architectural firm, but everything wasn't organized, and I really didn't have a plan. But when I came to Wimbiz and I saw people my age, younger than me, just doing things in such a structured and organized manner, it changed my life. And I remember when people say, oh, and they don't greet people in Wimbiz, they don't, I just tell them, I don't check. I'm not saying if anybody greets me or not. I'm there for what I want to gain. And So start conversations and join conversations like the one we're in today. It's a conversation that many times we're able to take so much away. It was such a joy to listen to all the other speakers. And Ijeoma, when she said Google yourself, I've never Googled myself before. So I did it during this meeting. It wasn't so bad, but it wasn't deliberate, So that's one takeaway I've taken. I'm going to be deliberate about my online persona. Yes, from the challenges normally are prevailing circumstances of our time, as I've said. We are all experiencing COVID. Sometimes personal habits, you don't realize that maybe you're not someone who listens. So you don't, when the caution is coming from the people around you, you don't pick up the signals and you miss them. Sometimes you're just lazy in some areas of your life, and you don't pay close attention to it. And then sometimes it's just capacity. You don't know what to do or how to go, about it. I just wanted to say that, looking back over my life, I found out that, no matter how dire things seem, there's the opportunities always abound. I'd like to share a story here. When we moved our offices, I had to move because our premises where I had a long lease, my landlord just came and increased the rent crazily. And I just thought, instead of paying somebody else this money, I'd rather let it be a down payment on the property. And I took a loan to make up the payment for the land, and the interest was high, And when we moved to the land, there was just a shed at the back of the property, and that shed, I renovated so that we could, our machines could be there. I had no office. I just sat, by the machines, and I was really miserable because, as I said, that was a personal challenge then, how people evaluated me seemed to matter. How will your clients come to the office? There's no way your clients will stay and all, and I felt bad. And I traveled to India with my mom. And normally, when I go anywhere in the world, I look for people who do things that are similar to what I do, and I try to meet them, maybe visit their premises and observe their operations. So I'd contacted this couple who what I saw online that they did was hand beading and contract manufacturing of clothes. So they came to meet me in my hotel. I was surprised. They were very simple compared to their online presence. And then they took me to their factory. The first thing was that where the factory was, there was no vehicular traffic. Cars couldn't get there. You would get down at a major car park, and then everyone would go in like the Marwa that we have in Nigeria, would take us there. Tricycles would take us to their house. The house was very narrow and small, but it was on 4 floors. On the ground floor, the people who did the hand beading were doing amazing work. On the first and second floor, the machines were there. I mean, the machines were so tightly packed that you couldn't walk straight. You had to walk sideways to get in. And then they lived on the topmost floor. They had 2 children. The topmost floor had 2 bedrooms, and they had 2 bedrooms, a kitchen. They shared the bathroom and the living room. Their 2 children went to private schools. Each child played 4 instruments. There was a pair of shorts that they were making that day that I went into the factory, and the lady told me that, oh, that was an order from the US, and they had ordered 350,000 pieces from them. It changed my paradigm. After that, it didn't matter to me what anybody thought of my circumstances, my environment, or whatever. It's what I could achieve was what was in my hands. So the opportunities always abound, really. And so don't be overwhelmed at any point in time. No matter how dire it looks, the opportunity is there. So taking action, taking the first step. I've said it's going to be 4 places: pivot, train, collaborate, and then what is in your hand. So, well, my story, um, when I was in Queen's College, my parents wanted me to study medicine. Meanwhile, I didn't even realize I hated the sight of blood. I just knew that I hated chemistry. I was a super science student, and I would pass everything, The chemistry, I would still pass it, but I knew in my heart that I hated it. So when it was time to fill the JAM form, maybe because I was like a responsible child, my parents didn't pay attention to it. I filled my JAM form myself and I put in architecture. Till date, I don't know how I got the boldness to do it, because I didn't do fine art in secondary school at the time. I didn't do any social science subject. I was a pure science student. And I passed JAM, but University of Lagos Architecture, you needed to do an interview. I went to do the interview and I passed, but I couldn't register in university. And because I didn't have the required subject base, that is when that's how come my parents knew what was happening. And I had to go back to Queen's College. They don't allow you to retake in QC, but because I passed my first combination of subjects, they now re-registered me and registered me for fine art and economics for the first time. And even though I was doing fine art for the first time, and I didn't take classes because I was in the A-level class, I still made an A1. And for me, I'm thankful every day for what I do. I love what I do. It is effortless for me. To design is effortless for me. I will do it for you for free. I will give things to you for free. I love what I do. Fashion design, I just fell into it. My graduation outfit was ruined twice by 2 really big designers in Lagos. And then my mom now told me about her tailor who is in her church, Auntie Bosse, and I went to her, and I just bought one cheap fabric from Tejosho, 150 naira a yard, and I drew what I wanted for her, and she interpreted my design excellently. She made it very nicely, and I was so impressed. So I asked her if she trained, and she said yes. So during my youth corps year, I registered for a course in fashion design and pattern cutting and clothing construction. I really did it just so that I could make clothes for myself. But by the time I was 2 months in to her place and I'd already started making clothes, I had a business. I employed my first tailor, and the rest is history. Over the years, I went back to architecture. I worked for foremost architectural companies. And then one day, I've always thought that, Nigeria, we cannot go forward being completely dependent on other countries for everything we need. So I've always loved manufacturing. And maybe, when you're a creative, you can make things with your hands and all that. So I've always loved manufacturing anyway, but I fell into that as well. I went with my husband to an exhibition. He goes on one exhibition every year, international exhibition, and I went with him to this one that was a landscape exhibition, and it was so boring. So after some time, I told him, you know what, I'll go and sit at the coffee shop. And he said, no, let's do just one last row together, and then we'll go back to the hotel. On that last row, he started talking to the first stall. So I walked down, and at the end, I saw this man that had a very small version, tabletop version of the first machine that we bought. We bought the industrial version of the machine, but he had this tabletop version of it there. And I fell in love. I just sat there. I was there for 3 hours. I didn't even realize it. My husband had been looking for me around the fair. He finally found me. What are you doing here? He said, oh, yeah, let's go. We took a sample from him, took all the documents and all. But he was acting as an agent. And in those days, there was no internet. So when I came back to Nigeria, I would go to the cyber cafe every morning, 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. for 1 hour. I was searching online to see if I would find the manufacturers of the machines. And finally, one day I found them. I emailed them that evening. And by the time I went back the next morning, they had replied me. And I we made the first deposit on the machine. It took me 4 years to pay, but as they say, the rest is history. Now we're post-COVID, so we're reinventing again. We're still manufacturing, but we're reinventing to be able to have more online presence, allow people to be able to use our products by themselves more. So there'll be training videos and all that. Training, well, if you're going to pivot, I believe that the first step should be training, so you know what you're doing. The reason why I can't shake off fashion, I've tried, to shake it off, is that even if I say so myself, I know my craft. Architecture helped me to understand the rudiments of fashion design, but the training that I got with Mrs. Olubanjo, because she was a lecturer at the Yaba College of Technology at the time, and she was trained in the UK. She trained me properly, and so I can cut freehand, I can make my own patterns, I can, I can walk across board. So with my internet is echoing. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Bimbo. I think somebody.
Yes, most definitely.
Okay, maybe they need to mute someone.
Yes.
Okay, so the training has helped me anyway. And if you, from this screen, you see, I keep doing it. I enjoy it anyway, learning new things. So I did after Unilag, I did the fashion school. I was there for 6 months. And then in 1998, I went to the London College of Fashion. In 2014, I did a business course at the China Europe International Business School. I'd been doing quite a bit of trading in China at that time. And then in 2016, I did a training in Italy on how to make concrete floors and countertops. We're exploring a low-cost housing option. So we're looking for finishes that will make housing affordable for the low and medium income earners, which is how come I went to that training. And then in 2016 as well, in the US, we did another training on GFRC. People in the construction industry, we know that is glass fiber reinforced concrete. And then during the lockdown, well, I've registered, we did a Success Power Academy, that's with Pastor Sam Adeyemi. Then another healthy eating training, and then how to make concrete furniture in Domestica. Interestingly, when I Googled my name, the profile that I submitted for that last training came up as one of the things about me. So you keep retraining, it helps, it keeps me busy anyway. And then you approach it from a point of view of capacity, knowledge. Collaboration is something we don't do so much here. I think maybe because of personalities, that's what I've seen anyway, from the few that have been, personality clashes, and all that. But unfortunately, it's something that I feel that has great potential and will strengthen, Nigerian businesses, a lot. When I started the fashion business, I started as sheltered clothiers because I started with t-shirts when I was in university. And then I started my own clothing label, Originals by Abimbola. And more recently, I've partnered with 2 friends to start a manufacturing enterprise for clothing, that's to service other designers and retailers. And honestly, I'd given up on the fashion side because I felt I was stretching myself thin. And it's only because of the collaboration that I can say that I'm still a player in that industry. One of my partners is the marketing hand, and which I am very bad at. Another one of my partners is the admin hand, which I'm very bad at as well. I'm a creative and I really am not organized, but she organizes us, and that's the reason why. Another collaboration that fashion brought about was the fashion souk with one of my mentors, Mrs. Yewande Zacchaeus. She's on in this Zoom meeting, and fashion souk also, is one of the things that I just did with so much joy, because and of course, if that platform wasn't there, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to express that bit of me and that experience that I had from the fashion industry. So collaboration, I think, is very big, with moving forward or accelerating. And then finally, I want to end it with, what is in your hand, really. My example of that is when COVID struck, everybody was holding on to their cash. I actually didn't have any cash at hand because we're actually in the process of backward integration. And so we're paying interest. So there's no cash to do anything new. The only thing that I really had was the internet and people. So with the internet, as I said, I've done all sorts of training in that time. And then with people, I've always had the desire to help the younger ones to strive towards excellence and hone their creative abilities and skills, especially in the area of product design. That is designing for our own challenges, our solutions for our own challenges. And so with this idea, what I did was that I reached out to the people that I had. I mean, this isn't saying that there would not be challenges. Of course, I had rejections and I was turned down, but I had people who just answered me at the first instant and supported me through it all. And that's how Dara was born. Dara in Yoruba means to do wonders. And it's a product design competition series, which, I just started writing down and all, and we put it up on the internet, on Instagram, on my Facebook page, and all. And the young people responded robustly, and we had this competition, and everything went so well. In fact, the young girl, people were so shocked that such talented children could have come out of Nigeria, the Nigerian educational system that we all say is bad. Brilliant young people and all. And that time would have just passed if I didn't take that step. So with whatever we have, there's still something to do, no matter how dire things look. Thank you. So that's it.
Amazing, 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 amazing. Could you stop your slide share, please? Fantastic.
Yes.
And what we're going to have to send to all the people on the call, because it's pretty clear and succinct. Very well done.
Okay, stop share.
You say, oh, you make it seem so easy, and then I did this, and then I did that, and the people in construction will understand this, and you play in a field that it's really weird, because you are creative, you're doing fashion designing, and then you're doing construction, you're doing stuff that involves construction. How do you marry that? How does that work in your head?
My head. Oh, yeah. Well, even in construction, as I said, architecture is creativity on another level. It's on an even more challenging level, but it is creativity. Fashion design too is creativity, and the reason why I could actually move into fashion design so easily is that, after being in architecture school for 6 years at that time, you were drawing lines every single day of your life, dealing with measurements and scaling up and scaling down practically every single day of my life. By the time I got to fashion design, and you need to measure, scale down, cut it in half, and that other people who were coming from other industries would have to, think through, how am I going to do this? Okay, the measurement, they said we should do it this way. Oh, we have to break it by 4. I mean, I was out of there in 6 months, and I covered the curriculum. Meanwhile, there were people that I met there and I left there. So they're both the same. They're both creative. It's just that on different levels.
Yes. One thing a lot of the people these days don't understand is they feel, oh, I'm an engineer, so, how am I going to work in engineering? But the truth about it is that university is a place where you go and you get a foundation. It's now up to you to build on it. Because what I can hear from you is that, yes, you studied architecture, but you came out and you were able to use it in your dressmaking.
I must say that architecture kind of prepares you to be able to move across disciplines and spheres, because, with each project you're designing for a different client. You can be doing an airport, you can be doing a home, you can be doing a kitchen, you can be doing an event center, you can be, so because you're moving across different spheres with each project. And the first thing you do when you have a new client is research. So you go and read up on, that sphere, you read up on your clients, what their needs might be and all that. You check online for what people have done internationally and all. So you're coming from knowledge. Because of that, I'm actually better prepared to move across those things. For instance, I mean, sometimes I hear people, I'll give you an example. I visited a site with someone, and they showed me something that was like a challenge. I'm not the architect on that site, and really it's not really my business, but they were not happy with what the architect had done. They felt there was not enough space. Oh, this thing is too small, it's too this and all that. And I left the site. But because I'm trained to think like that, on my phone, I just went on Pinterest, looked for the parameters of what was the challenge, screen grabbed those images and forwarded it back to them. And that was just the end of the worry or the fear of what they had. So it's the same way a lawyer will find it easy to read through different articles and easily evaluate someone's write-up. I hate all those kind of things, so the training prepares you.
Yes, fantastic. Well, it's just been amazing. I think today has been amazing for me. I started off with doing a presentation to a group of ladies at 9 o'clock this morning. I was the one presenting, and I just was like, oh, how am I going to get through 4 speakers? But it has honestly been a breeze. It has been so easy to listen to each one of you. Bimbo, I really thank you, because you have sort of, taken us through your life journey, but you didn't make it tedious for us. Thank you. You made it, you made it easy for us to, put ourselves in that position, and I'm hoping, the brilliant thing is that we don't have so many people listening, but we're going to upload this on YouTube. And then we're going to start a market for people to go there and to listen. I think initially my thing was that, Joe, I'm just going to tell people it's for their own sakes anyway to come and listen. But listening, I've just realized that, what, people have to hear some of these things. People have to be part of this kind of conversation, because honestly, a lot of us have stuff in us that is just, stopping us from moving forward. Thank you so much, Bimbo. Than ever before, we're going to need to bring our A game to the game. Once again, I just want to thank all our speakers. And like I said, this is going to be on YouTube. If you just go to Box and Cedar Limited, you'll find us on YouTube, and you'll find the other talks that we have done. Talks That Break Inertia, we're here to stay. We've said it's the Talks That Break Inertia Institute. We're here to stay. This is our own giving back. But besides giving back, we're going to now start to beat people over the head that you must attend these talks, young and old. I was speaking to someone who's about my age, and when I said, oh, breaking inertia, she said, oh my goodness, I need to hear that. I all along had thought, oh, the younger people. But we've heard all the talks today have been relevant, whether you are 20 years old, 30 years old, or 60 years old.
60 or 70.
Thank you. Or 70. Or 70.
Yeah.
Vivo didn't tell us the story of her mom, who started a new business at the age of 70 and only gave it up when she was in her 80s. So you are right. You are right. Or 70. Thank you very much. And God bless you all. See you on YouTube and see you at the next seminar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Olamide.
Thank you so much. Very impactful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Olamide.
Thank you.
Presentation.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Reverend Green, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I work with family.
Very well.
As well.
Will do.
Thank you. Thanks for your efforts. Thanks for touching lives. God will touch your own life for good in Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. Shalom.